Thanks, everybody. It's funny, this old guitar, I bought it, we did an album a couple years ago with a Victoria guy, Bob Rock, a producer, a really successful producer, a great guy, and a really old friend of mine. And just started the session, we were doing the bed tracks, and he says, Joe, what's the name of the album going to be? And I said, well, it's going to be Northern Adventure. And he went, huh. And he knew this guitar way back when I bought this, like in 1974. And he said, no, the album's not Northern Adventure. That guitar is, right? So, you know, so this part's been rebuilt, and this part I totally smashed off, so this is a whole new section, right? So don't ask me how or why I did that. It wasn't very smart, right? So I kept smashing things. I don't need to play this fucking guitar anymore. And then later on, I'm like, I smashed my guitar. So anyway, so you know, it's funny, right? So because it got stolen twice in Vancouver, we got back, and then in 1994, we're in Spain. And I don't know, in Spain, you start playing about 3 in the morning, you get up about 5. And then as soon as you're packing your gear up, then the disco starts, and there's about twice as many people like fucking partying. It's like a fucking crazy place, a wonderful place, but a crazy place. And the one night in Spain, like up in the Basque country, in Euskadi, my guitar got stolen. And it's like, it was a real drag because it was one of our favorite places to go. DOA is really popular up there, and the people have a real fierce sense of independence and spirit. And so we try and get the guitar back, no questions asked or reward, you know, that kind of thing, nothing. About 6 months later, I got this letter, and I could read enough Spanish to tell the guy who had my guitar, and he was sorry he had stolen it, right? So, and I went, okay. Now, I bought this the guitar at Access Music in North Burnaby in 1974 for $400. So I arranged with the Spanish national airline, okay, we can ship it back to you for $200. Okay, sure, that's a good deal. I've had this guitar forever, right, since I was a kid. And then they phoned back up there and said, no, it's going to be $300. Okay, I just want to get the guitar back. And then they phoned back up there and said, no, it's going to be $400. That's what I fucking paid for it. You know? And so I eventually got back, and the funny thing, the only thing that was gone was the guitar strap, which was leather, and after these tours, like 40 days long, they don't smell very good, right? So, I don't know. So, and then about 10 years later, we went back to the same Euskadi, the Basque country, and after the show was great, and the promoter says, Joey, I have somebody who wants to say something to you. And the guy came in, he couldn't speak English, and I couldn't speak Spanish or Basque, obviously not. And it was a guy who stole the guitar. In the dressing room and the entire club, there wasn't a square inch where you could move without running into a cigarette butt or a broken bottle or a glass or beer. They party hard up there, right? And the guy was across in this little metal table at the dressing room for me, and got this translation how he's so sorry about stealing the guitar. And so I had 2 choices. I could, like a priest, I could accept his confession, or I could jump across the table and beat the living fuck out of him, right? I chose the confession. I did, honestly. It's all true. Every word, isn't that right? Fuck off. I'm just joking, right? So, anyways, okay, so easy there, buddy. Okay. Doesn't like being stepped on. I guess nobody really does, right, when you think about it. I wanted to ask you, like back in the 80s when punk rock really got going, who do you think was the person most responsible for the spread of punk rock? Man or woman? Any country around the world? Take a guess. Suggestions, anybody?
Johnny Rotten.
Johnny Rotten, that's a very good guess, right? He was like definitely one of the key figures. Anybody else? You read my mind like a book. It's more like a novella than a book, right? You're right. And there's the former dead and always rotten president of the United States from 1980 to 88, right? Oh fuck, I gotta tell you, like, I started tweeting lately, and it's really quite a lot of fun, right? If you want to see this DOA, at DOA Joe, right? And so I had CNN on, and my oldest son Jake is 20 24, and he's with me politically. He's going to be like a psychiatrist, which should really help me out in the long run, I think. I hope he becomes a lawyer too, then I've got everything covered. Right? So we're talking, so this Republican debate in Las Vegas was happening with these guys like Mitt Romney and Kane and Rick Perry and, you know, and we just went, fuck, these people are like fucking, they're insane, right? And so what's another word for insane? It's Republican, right? Or Tea Party is the other one that goes with it. So I tweeted like, if anybody can tell me who is the most insane out of these 8 candidates, please tell me, unless Sarah Palin's going to drop in, right? So, anyway, so we get back to the story. This guy was the father of this thing. You know, it's like, he was, why punk rock really spread and got really big in the States and Canada. You had leaders like this, and his policies were like so anti-environmental, anti-women, anti-people, and they had this like thing called trickle-down economics. And it said, his theory was that if you make the billionaires rich, they'll give you nickels and dimes. And he didn't say that publicly, he said they'll all trickle down. And I really feel this is really analogous to what's happening with this Occupy Wall Street movement that's happening around the world. So, right on, brothers and sisters. Yeah. It's going to get big. Believe me, this could be like a game changer. It's ain't going to take 6 weeks or a year. I think it's going to take 10 years, right? It's just one of those struggles I have to go on, and people will get being tired of being the occupiers there and doing that. And other people will have to join in, take turns, that kind of thing. Anyway, so in 1980, we got invited. Ronald Reagan had won all the primaries, and he was going to be the candidate to face off against Jimmy Carter, who was the Democratic president, right? And maybe the last decent president they ever had down there, right? You know, Barack Obama was kind of accepted, I think, right? I think it's okay. But anyway, so it was basically a coronation. And has anybody ever been to Detroit? 1, 2, okay, yeah. Okay, well, I Googled Detroit the other day. I actually Googled shithole, and there was a picture of Detroit there. I'm sorry, I digress, but it's true. It's true, right? It's rotten, right? And, it's in tough shape. Nobody's got money, and but this is the reason why I mentioned this. The Republican National Convention, where Ronald Reagan would be coronated to be their candidate, and we go on to win 2 general elections in a row, obviously. But they wanted to show the new face of Detroit, so they built these downtown big black towers called the Renaissance Center, right on the Detroit River. You look at there, you're looking right across at Windsor, right, our car town, and across there. And so they really wanted to show up Detroit, this not murder capital anymore. We've cleaned the place up. It's really good. Like, things are happening in Detroit. Move to Detroit, right? Meanwhile, Detroit's a third of the size that it used to be 30 years ago, right? So the Republicans were there, and you know, showed up for conventions, stuff like that. And you know, the funny thing was is that the garbage men there, like garbage men in most places are pretty smart, decided to go on strike as the Republicans arrived. So, and of course, the city council wouldn't cave in. So when we got there, because we'd been invited to play this anti-Reagan rally, the garbage started stacking up about this high. There's so many rats, so much garbage, that the mayor said, okay, that's it. We've got to hand out name tags so we can tell the rats from the Republicans. There's your drummer, thank you there. So anyway, so we got invited to play this rally, right? And it was an outdoor rally, and it's kind of like DOA's friends and comrades, who are like they're pinkos, socialists, anarchists, free thinkers, and fun seekers. That kind of basically covers most everybody who will go see DOA, right? So they got us and the Toxic Reasons, a really great band from Dayton, Ohio. They played this outdoor show at a place called Clark Park, which is about a mile south of where the Republican convention was happening. So there's about 2,000 anti-Reagan people show up, and everybody's having a great time. The Toxic Reasons play, then DOA gets up and play. And we get about halfway through our set, you know, we play about 5, 6, 7 songs, and then what happens, I'm sitting there playing away, right, and I see down one of the streets leading to the park, you know, like we're up in a flatbed trailer, and I see this big procession of people coming towards the park, and I'm like, pointing around, I'm kind of looking at the motion over to the other guys, and the crowd's kind of looking now too, right? What it is, I realized as they're getting closer, it's about 2,000 people, about the same size as our crowd, pro-Reagan people. they're waving American flags, and they've got like big placards, like signs and stuff like that, saying like, commies go to hell, gays burn in hell, leave America if you don't love it, shit like that, right? And they're waving this stuff, and then come down to have it out with the anti-Reagan people, right? So here's the scenario here. So here's the flatbed trailer, DOA's plan here. Here's the anti-Reagan people, and here's the pro-Reagan people coming closer and closer. At that point, it looks like, okay, this is going to get really ugly, right? And at that point, I got a hand in the Detroit Police Department, pulled out there about 5 big vans, and about 100 cops came out in like full riot gear, like helmets and batons and shields and stuff like that. And they so here's the stage, anti-Reagan people. Then the cops got in between when so it was like a snake. They joined arms facing opposite ways, right? And so they thought, okay, we're going to break this up. It didn't work that easily, right? Because as the two sides came together, they were hurling insults verbally. As they got to the police, they were kicking in between the police, like that, and they're throwing punches over top, and back and forth over this police line. And of course, the police are taking the worst of it, like, and what was particularly effective, if you're ever at a demo, was these placards, because the people were like hitting people across over top of the police were back, and bam, 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 and the cops are getting hit in the shoulder, and they're like, fuck, and we're still playing, and as this is happening, we stop one song, and we're like, okay, what the fuck do we do now? And our manager, Ken, says, well, what else can I do? You should play Fucked Up Ronnie. Fucked Up Ronnie, you're not gonna last. You're gonna die too. Ronnie, you do it back. You're fucked up Ronnie. Fucked up Ronnie. Fucked up Ronnie. You're fucked up Ronnie. Ronnie, who will be loud. I don't want you happen anyway you hate. When you want to something, whoa, we need that you sing that day you hate. You're fucked up Ronnie. You're fucked up Ronnie. You're fucked up Ronnie. You're fucked up Ronnie. Make this world into a better place than it is now. Thanks, I'm Joe Keithley.
Yeah.